So this is a Mario Maker level I've been working on, and we're gonna take a look at it. So you see we get a checkpoint right off the bat. That's because this is a recurring checkpoint level. We'll get through 7 different sections, after each of which we'll get a checkpoint, just looping between 2 rooms that look pretty similar to this. You can see we have 4 different sections here right off the bat, 2 doors, 2 pipes. We're just going to go left to right, knocking out each section. Each section can be a little bit tricky, but because of the checkpoint every time, each section will only ever have to be done once. So let's start over here. This is a sideways thwomp room. You can see we have coins to indicate how high or low we need to bounce to avoid certain obstacles, and boom. You can see at the very end there we collected a red coin, and you can see that it keeps track of it in our top right. Even though I said there's only 7 sections, there's 8 different spots up there for the coin. And that's because you'll see in a moment there's a coin I have set aside to be the last one people get, because you never want to get the last coin and then die, like if I fell off the edge right here after collecting the last coin. Because when you get the last coin, you get a key, and if you die with that key, the level won't remember how many coins you had. Whereas now, I get that checkpoint, it remembers that I have 1 coin, so I'll never have to do that room again. This is the safety coin I was talking about, so we're going to get this one last. There's a spike in there just in case someone went in there and got it early, so you could die, respawn at the checkpoint, and go about doing all the other sections. I've set it up to where it's unlikely that you'll die after getting any coin before getting the checkpoint, but this is just a standard safety precaution just in case. So now let's go with the vine room. Here we have a vine in this question mark box, and the goal here is to create a sky tree to make it so nothing is in the path of it. So here, for example, you'll see that block stops it. So we would have to reset. And now we're going to turn off the switch and get other obstacles out of the way as we go, as the vine grows up. So we turn off this switch, jump up here, hit that turn block, hit that on-off switch, because if it had hit either this turn block or that blue block, then this sky tree would have stopped growing and we wouldn't have been able to make it up here to our second coin and the pipe back to our first checkpoint room. So we already did the thwomp room, we're just going to continue left to right and do this one with the shell and the POW. This room's all about jumping off multiple items, so we start out here with our shell, and you can either get a running start or do a jump right here. The goal is to throw the shell at approximately this little indicator I've set up. So hopefully, yeah, and just barely made it over with that one. I have this one way set up here in case you want to just continuously retry this trick over and over again. Shell jumps are pretty common in a bunch of different Mario Maker levels, so I figured having it set up here to where you can just practice this trick over and over again would be helpful. Let's see if I can get it twice in a row. Oh, threw it up instead. I've heard a lot of people saying they've been getting the items to throw up a lot using just the Joy-Cons. I'm not sure if that's going to continue to be the case. I might pick up a Pro controller, but as you can see, we made it over, and now we're looking at POW drops. So here, this is something new to Mario Maker 2. The way that item drops work, you let go of them a little bit later, I think. So we're going to drop this and try to land on it and get a jump off of it. We pretty much want to drop it right when it's at its peak. The further it is under Mario when we drop it, that's the more incorrect we were with the drop. So just as he gets to his peak, we're going to drop it, jump off of it. You saw we got another red coin, and on to the next section. So again, continuing left to right, we now have the on-off switch section. Here our goal is to control where this shell goes, hitting the on and off switch at appropriate times. You can see if I hit it and then hit it over here, it's going to land in that little cubby, and that's not what we want. We want to get it all the way to the bottom so it can hit that POW switch that's over to our right to kill this muncher so that we can get to the coin and the door. I'm going to go ahead and just run into the muncher, get my checkpoint reset. You'll be able to see that we do hold on to all 3 keys. Just did that to put us back at full time. So here it's not exactly just jump, 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 jump to keep switching it. There is a bit of a delay that varies between the different hits, but you can see we're going to hit over here, hit it to bounce, bounce, and over there. One key thing is that we have a smaller window on that last hit than it looks like. You would think that as soon as it goes over these red squares that we'd be able to switch it back at any point before it needs to be over here at these blue squares, but actually you don't want to hit it too much too early because the shell is going back and forth in that section, and if you accidentally hit it while the shell's right above the on-off switch, that'll knock it up and stop its trajectory, and as we went over before, it had to go all the way to hit the POW. So 4 rooms done. Now we're on to the P-switch section. Here we're going to do a couple of P-switch jumps, and when you jump off of a P-switch, the window is pretty long in Mario Maker 2, a lot easier than it was at the end of Mario Maker 1's life cycle, and essentially just any time you hit the P-switch, jump off it, and you can even do a spin jump off of it. So you're going to see us do a normal jump off the first one because we're going to bounce off a Koopa after that, and then off the second one we're going to be landing on a Spiny, so we're going to need to do a spin jump. So jump, jump, spin, spin, and here, unfortunately, I have these coins set up that turned into blocks when we hit the P-switch, just because I didn't want people to accidentally go into any of these other sections with the P-switch active. I don't think any of them could be too detrimental, but just to make sure everything is as it's meant to be, we have it set up like that. In this last section, you can see the L and R coins right here telling us that we want an L or R jump would have been turn blocks. I don't think that would have been detrimental in this case, but it's just nice to have everything as it should be. So in this section, like I said, we have the L or R indicator showing us that we're going to spin jump. So our goal is to spin jump off of one of these Koopas while the crane's holding it. And then we're going to wait as another Koopa comes into that crane, do the same thing there, up to the top. And throughout that whole thing, you're just holding on to the L or R button the entire time so that you are getting full height bounces off of them. You'll see in this next section, in the bomb section, we're actually not going to be doing that. We're going to be doing very short jumps as we propel the bomb up this ladder of springs. Oh, missed it there. So back in again, like I said, we're just going to be letting go right away after we bounce off the bomb of the L or R button so that our jumps are very short. We're going to follow this line of coins and hopefully land on some clouds at the top. It's important that we keep the bomb with us because it blows up that block, killing the POW, which kills the Muncher and gives us our last coin, or second to last coin at least. Last coin for a section, but as we went over before, our last coin is right here, the safety coin, and into the last section. So at this point, because we have our safety coin, you can see it's not even tracking our coins anymore. The important thing at this point is that there's no way to die. If you did die, then you would lose track of all your coin progress, as I mentioned earlier. So I've designed this section so that there's no way to actually fall to your death, and if you ever lose track of this Yoshi, you could always just go back in and out of the door to reset it. The section itself has 2 Yoshis. We're going to jump off each of them to land down here, and you can see that each Yoshi landed on a track, which brought it over to a Muncher. And the important thing to note about these Munchers is that all enemies rather, is that they disappear when you hit the goalpost. So while these Yoshis are currently safe, we caught them, we nurtured them, we brought them to where they needed to be, just so we could watch them as they fell to their deaths. And that's the level. So here's the course ID if you want to check it out. As I said, I just uploaded it, so we don't have a clear rate yet, but my guess is that it's going to be deceptively low, since each section has the potential for several deaths, but you'll always get the checkpoint right after it. I think it'll be a lot easier than the clear rate will end up implying. I hope you like the way that level looked. Just checking out some of the basic stuff that we can do, some cool tricks. I hope to be making all sorts of other levels here soon. Thanks for checking it out with me.